what do you think about the pyramids?
I think the Egyptians just found it and they said, wow, gods must have made this.
So what do you think that was?
It's supposed to be the tomb for Khufu, but no mummy's ever been found in a pyramid. So gun to my head, I think they were used to generate energy. And that's what Nikola Tesla was trying to do. It's the same technology.
So back to Nikola Tesla, what do you think about the pyramids? What were they?
So gun to my head, I think they were used to generate energy. I think there's a lot of evidence for it. You know, for people interested in it, they can look into Christopher Dunn's work. He's done the research, the definitive research on the pyramid power plant theory. Tesla was fascinated by the pyramids, not so much for energy, but for how they were constructed, how they're constructed to true north and all of that. He was fascinated by the engineering of it. But his free energy device, a lot of that engineering can be seen in the pyramid. So Wardenclyffe Tower was his facility on Long Island, which is big, just a big tower. It looks like a water tower, but it's built over an aquifer. And what Tesla was trying to do was use the water creates this deep resonant sound that resonates with the Earth's natural frequency. Everything has a resonant frequency. Whether the Earth, this chair, our bodies, everything does. And if you can come into harmony with that frequency, it will expand, it will amplify. And there's been research that certain wavelengths broadcast at the Great Pyramid will amplify that electromagnetic energy. It's around 200 meters, I think. So Tesla is fascinated with that engineering. But the pyramid power plant theory is a lot like Tesla's technology. The Giza Plateau, there is an aquifer under there. There's a lot of water under there. And that water would create this resonant frequency. And they found copper rods that go down there that would help bring up some of the electricity or however it worked. And then in the pyramid, at the various chambers, there's residue of certain chemicals that when combined create a lot of hydrogen, like a violent reaction of hydrogen. So coming down from the Queen's chamber and then, I forget the other chamber, but they're built in a way so they come down, you use gravity and you just pour these chemicals down, creates this hydrogen reaction, which we know there's residue of these chemicals there. This is not a conspiracy theory. The hydrogen expands, comes up through the gallery, which is this big hallway that goes up to the King's chamber. And they've discovered that in the Grand Gallery, there used to be these wooden posts or some kind of sort of flat wooden things. And those would create sound. It's called a Helmholtz resonator. Like when you blow across a bottle, it goes, whoo, that air is a Helmholtz resonator. So this hydrogen would come up through the chamber. These things would resonate with sound, the F-sharp chord specifically, and that would cause it to build up more and more and more. The hydrogen expands. This chamber is built out of rose granite, which is an unusual type of granite because it's densely made of quartz. And when you compress quartz, it creates electricity. It's called piezoelectricity. And if you have a lot of quartz, you can create a lot of electricity. There's been experiments done where if it's a mountain of quartz, it creates something like 10 million volts, like it creates a lot of power. So you've got you've got the hydrogen expanding, creating this electricity. It's ionizing the air, amplifying it more. You've got the sound coming through, amplifying it more. And then you've got this hole leading into the King's chamber that's 4.8 inches by 8.4 inches, which is the perfect size for a hydrogen atoms microwave to just fit through as a waveguide. Comes up into the King's chamber, and the King's chamber has these pillars and on top of it, a bunch of stones that are stacked. Everything is really smooth, except the top is really rough. And forever, they thought that they called this the relieving stones, that these would relieve the pressure of the pyramids. But they're not connected to anything, so there's no pressure there. But what they found is that this creates music, creates this chord. And what the theory is it's rough on top because they would chip away at it and tune it until it was just about right. And that's why it's smooth on the bottom but rough on the top. And so you've got all this energy, so how do we get it out? Well, when the pyramids were new or, intact, the interior is made out of a certain type of limestone that electricity can move around in. The exterior is made out of a different kind of limestone called Tura limestone, which is quarried from far, far away and brought in.
Way down the Nile, right?
Way down, hundreds of miles away. Like you'll hear Zayawas talk about the limestone on the pyramid, but he never talks about the Tura limestone or the rose granite. So there's all these different, why not just build the whole thing out of the same rocks that are right here? Bring the Tura limestone to Giza is like bringing the 100-ton blocks up the coast of Florida. It's like that far. But it's a special type of limestone that's very low in magnesium. It's a great insulator. So you've got this electricity, and then you've got sort of this conductor, and then you've got another insulator. And that's called a dielectric, and that creates even more power. And if you had a gold capstone on top, which is a great conductor, you can force that energy up through the capstone and up into the ionosphere. And that's what Nikola Tesla was trying to do. It's the same technology. Where I get stuck is, I love all of that, and I buy it. But we don't see any evidence of what they did with the power. So the people who are really into it will say, well, the obelisks at one time also had metal capstones, so they would be receivers. Okay, but still, what did they do with it? There's no computers, there's no light bulbs. The ancient Egyptians didn't work with glass, so what did they do with it? My guess is the Egyptians didn't build any of this. Is the reason that we don't see any evidence of what the Egyptians did with power is because they didn't use it for power. I think the Egyptians just found it. And they said, wow, this is crazy. Gods must have made this. And it just became sort of this, religious type of structure. It's supposed to be the tomb for Khufu, but no mummy's ever been found in a pyramid. We've never found any of that. Now,
wow.
Egyptologists will say, well, they were robbed. The mummies were there, but they were taken out. All right, well, there's no evidence of any of that. But there is evidence of zinc chloride at one side and hydrochloric acid on another side and sulfuric acid here. And there's an inch of salt that would, up and down this chamber, that would be the result of a chemical reaction. There's evidence of an explosion at some point. On all this stuff you can look up. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying these things are true. And I'm just connecting the dots for my entertainment. But you can go look at them and make up your own mind.
Damn. So you think they found them?
I think they found them. I think they were there for a long time.
So what do you think that was? Previous civilizations?
Previous
aliens?
civilizations. I'm not an alien guy.
You're not an alien guy?
Not really, because I can't wrap my mind around crossing the distances of space. They're so far. Like we can't. Space is so big that the human mind we can't comprehend it. Mm-hmm. So we've got this comet 3I Atlas just zipping into the solar system now. It's the fastest object we've ever found. It's like 135,000 miles an hour. We've never seen a comet move this fast. It's still going to take 6 months to get through. So it's that big. So I can't get my mind around aliens, wormholes, folding space. I can't get my mind around it. But something's going on. I've seen videos. Most, I don't believe the whistleblowers. I don't believe anyone from Air Force intelligence. I don't believe any of that. And if you have a book out, I don't believe what you're saying. If you're cleared by the DOD,
I definitely don't.
I definitely don't. If you still have clearance and you're still a contractor and you're still working with DOD, I can't. You're not a whistleblower. You're doing PR. So, with all due respect, I don't believe you guys.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.